Welcome to Deluge, the Threnody of crashing waves. Today we're gonna try and do chapter 3. I don't quite know where we were. Wait. 30, 13. I think we were there. Did I forget to save? That seems like a thing I have done. Wait. Rise and shine. Have you slept all night? She looked exhausted. I spent the previous night by her side, assist her as the doctor around the police perimeter. No, this is after. Snapping pictures and throwing questions at forensic investigation that poured in out of Karen's residence. Because Karen died. The officer, however, were reluctant to discuss the case. It wasn't until 2 a.m. when the most of the police had left the scene that I could finally convince her to go home. But even then she was remained restless, immediately setting to work on a laborious feature article covering the case. And though she appeared sharper than ever, tirelessly paging through her notebook, making phone calls, transcribing audio recorders she'd made. I myself was fully depleted, and it was not long before I collapsed onto the couch. Well, I'm making eggs. I haven't had a solid meal in days. Do as you wish. I'm going to call the police station again. If you really think their answer... An attack on a politician in Abbotsford of all places. It does make me wonder. Well, if this could be linked to the interview you conducted with Karen last week. Please don't bring me into this! It's like someone wanted to silence her. We've been received warnings, you know. We? What do you mean? I have, the paper. I found one again last week after we reported on the farmhouse case. It was a very short message from an anonymous email address. Oh. Sad to hear your office burn down, is what it said. Did our office burn down? No, you dimwit, it was a threat. Why didn't you tell me that before? For a second her eyes turned distant. She had begun fidgeting the fabric of her bed sheets. I dismissed it as a prank at the time. I'm still sure it's a prank, you know. Don't worry. Ines spoke with a resigned affidavit of war correspondent, who had started into far great peril. Do you have any idea who planned the attack on Karen? For a long time she was silent. No, not really. What about the mayor and his brother? They've been brought up a few times. An involuntary contract flashed across her eyes. The mayor's brother? There certainly have been rumors concerning him. After our latest article sparked interest in the murder case, he was the center of suspicion again. A small town, people gossip a lot. She shuddered. George Van Linden, a scary guy. When we were younger, we'd tell stories about Grumpy George. He was known for igniting a furious rage whenever someone came on his property. There was even a time. She stopped abruptly, swallowing her words. Never mind. But I'm sure he's the kind of person that could coldly eliminate someone who got in his way. It chills me that someone like him holds so much power in a town like this. The thing is, we don't have any evidence. George Van Linden, you should see him. There's disquieting shimmer in his eyes. A slight squint that, though barely noticeable at first, somehow warps his entire face into an expression I can only describe as detached. It impacts his feature, the curt, rude way in which he speaks, his dissolved movements, his acute outbursts of aggressive rage. But these are only external symptoms of underlying decay. The true case for his demon must come from a place far deeper inside. She paused as she carefully measuring at the following sentence. The strange look in his eyes, it's so unmistakably crucial to his whole persona. That it almost feels like it's characteristic of a certain psychology. That slowly emerged from within him. Stop using these types of words. Ina was becoming increasingly grave, bringing down her voice to a level it bare with the audible range. Stop talking so damn weird. That behavior, I don't think it can be explained as a primitive of uncivilized mind. No. We can see all this type all around our Ina neighbors, a random passerby, even the politician of the world leaders. Can I do anything about the going automatic yet? Preferences? Oh, there. Yeah, okay, I fixed it. Nice. I could barely make out the tired whisper. The short-tempered, the decency, and all the qualities of the future man. She stared at me in silence as though she had divulged something of the greatest significance. And though I didn't fully understand the thoughts Ina was trying to convey that morning, I was stricken by the seriousness that had come over her. It was unlike anything she had previously subjected to me. Then she took out her phone. I'm sorry. Go cook your eggs. I need to make a few calls. Damn. When I switched on the stove, I could hear it calling out from the bedroom. Oh, and Abe, please ask Rika to take you to the council library. I'm still interested in that appendix document that they keep there. Okay. That's cool. I don't remember who Rika was, but I guess we'll figure out. I went looking for Rika as soon as class ended. It didn't take me long to find her, hurrying through the hallway at a steady pace. Oh no, it's you! Hey Rika, what's cooking? She chortled. I'm on my way to the pool. We're running double training sessions up into the regional championship next month. She brushed aside her hair. Ooh. The music in this game is very inconsistent with the volume. It's so cool. You can walk with me if you would like. And just as she was about to continue onward, she faltered as though she'd remember something. So, you must be preparing for your big trip. I stared at her in confusion. May told me you'll be taking her to the beach sometime soon. You should have to come to me first. I thought back to Sunday evening and the words May had drowsily muttered into my ear. Bro, why would I have to ask you first? I don't see how this is any of your business. It was just a while at the ear first. I don't see how this is any of your business. Bitch. I have to go mind to report you to authority. What? I have a good mind to report you to the authorities? Ah, why? What's your problem? It speaks volumes of your character. This attempt to take advantage of a vulnerable young woman. Hey, yo! I would never do that. I've been very tolerant of your little outings with May up until now. Are you stupid? But if you're going to take her out of town, I insist she be accompanied by a chaperone. Her eyes were like hellfire. I guess you have someone in mind? For an unwed girl to go on a private beach with outings with a man, I have my reservations about the whole situation. I haven't promised her anything, we could just cancel. However, as I feel May is due to exertion, and as I have some business of my own to attend in Rebury, I'm willing to accompany the two of you. Accompany us? Sure, or will my presence ruin the little plan you had in mind? Not at all. Bring it on, bitch. Fine then, I already made my arrangements. Class ends early this coming Tuesday, so we can leave after the school and be back before midnight. I'm sure we'll have a blast. Fuck you, girl. I don't like you. When we arrived at the pool, I was still somewhat taken aback by Rika's sudden takeover of the accusation. Then I remembered my initial motive for approaching her. Oh. Hey Rika, before I leave, I was wondering. There's something I need from the town council library. She tilted her head, a curious expression forming on her face. From the council library? Could you get me in? It isn't usually open to the public. What will you ever need from there? Or just some old records or something for a history assignment. And if I figure you owe me a favor considering how I'm letting you come on this beach trip. Well, I could get you in, though we have to go soon. There are tightening security protocols after the whole attack on Miss Borges. Did you hear about that? I did. We'll go this afternoon, after I'm done with my workout. Please meet me outside the council building in about an hour. Okay. So, 5 o'clock? I was met with the fresh scent of chlorine emanating from her hair. Okay. There you are, let's get going. I have to be home in time for dinner. Okay. I always say that at this game, I played a lot of visual novels, but only in this game I go like, okay. The entrance to the council building was rather sophisticated for a country town. Rika immediately went over to the receptionist, with whom she seemed to be on friendly terms, and received a small copper key, which she pocketed quietly. Okay, no. We were led through to the back rooms without issue. Wordlessly, Rika unlocked a non-strip door and led me in. Okay. Please don't get your hopes up, the miniature collection isn't actively curated. It's just a heap of whatever books the town get their hands on. I began to browse the shelves, which appeared to have been crammed full without any systems or catalog. I'll help you. What title are you looking for? There was an obvious question. It caught me completely off guard. Well? Don't tell me you've forgotten. Forgotten, yes. I mean, can you at least tell me the name of the author? I believe it was called Spangler. I thought the first name that came to mind, but it seemed to be a piece to Rika. Spangler? Never heard of him. We searched silently for a while. I scanned the shelves one by one, paying special attention to any publication that appeared over 100 years old. As time passed, I could sense Rika growing increasingly restless. Zoning restrictions on the construction of the Proverbial Third Division, annual report of Homeowners Association, the Gilded Bull Rush, the amount of junk they keep is appealing. They need someone to prune it all down. On the reproductional habits of fruit flies? What kind of person holds onto this trash? After a further 20 minutes of pointless browsing, she'd finally had enough. That's it, Abe. I have to go home now. You can look further if you want. Here's the key. I'll let your disruptions know that you're still in here. Thanks, Rika. Sorry for dragging you along for this. It's okay. She was smiling again. Just make sure you're prepared for our big outing on Tuesday. I sent May a message already. She's delighted. With a restrained wave, her hand exited the room. Ooh. And I continued my hunt. After asserting I've been through each and every bookcase, I started anew just to be certain, when suddenly I hear a door open, followed by a loud shuffle. Before I could even turn around, a booming voice rang out. Great to see young people taking interest in the art of politics. Who the fuck is that? I turned to see an older gentleman who, apart from distinct, a franchise of liquor that surrounded him, looking impeccable. And immediately knew who I was dealing with. It was though his image of certain aura that I could sense even before he addressed me. This must be him, the man whom Ina told me about every rumor. The illustration of Leopold Margaret of Abbot. This library is the greatest resource we have. It's sad so very few people find their way here. Is there anything I can help you with? I saw no reason to lie to him at the time, as I knew he wasn't exactly partial to church dealings. I'm looking for an appendix to the Theological Inquiries into the Church of Abbot. Instantly his demeanor changed. Oh. He let out a short throat laugh, and I could detect a captive twinkle appear in his eyes. The Inquiries into the Church of Abbot, you say? I believe I heard that name before. He looked over his shoulder. I suggest we go for a drink, you and I. Somewhere where we can talk in private. Oh. I got him. I don't think I got him. So I saw you come in with Cooper's daughter. She's a fine catch, that girl. Shut up, man. She's not. Be wary of her father, though. He coughed out a dry chuckle. Oh, I remember what it's like to be young. Between the two of us, some say I haven't changed much since those days. He scratched his beard with an agonizing gesture. Pretty woman will always be my Achilles heel. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop it. So I've been told. Leopold has chosen the table away from the other patrons. You're 18, right? Yeah? Let me order you a beer. He signaled the bartender by holding up 2 fingers. Anyway, about the document you were looking for. Sorry to tell you, it's been lent out. You're wasting your time searching. Lent out? That's right, the appendix has been removed, as they say in medicine. But tell me, what were you planning on doing with that thing? Give it to your girlfriend? Not at all, I need it for a school project. Well, that's a sign of great ingenuity. It's an interesting piece, it isn't requested much. I'd say people had all but forgotten about it. But then you came along. You mentioned it had been lent out? Lent out, yes, it has. He let out a long sigh. Oh. It's been lent out to me, to be precise. I was overcome with confusion. To you? I figured your girlfriend would have known, considering her father's position. She's not my... She really had you on a wild goose chase looking for things that weren't there. She didn't know what I was looking for? This comment appeared to be putting him at ease. That's good, very good. Stay vigil. You don't have to tell the ladies everything. Keep them guessing. You're a stronger man than I. Then he bent forward, lowered his voice discreetly. You must have heard the story, Abe. It was about a year ago. There was a guy we employed to do our garden on Sundays. Jan was his name. Okay, Jan wasn't from here, you know, but more importantly, he was a cigar smoker. My wife doesn't let me smoke in the house anymore, so we'd often sit on the patio outside and smoke together. I don't work my people too hard. You need to take your time, enjoy life. He winked. Anyway, I was having a lot of trouble with your father-in-law, Cooper, back then. Sometimes I would went about it against Jan, and that's when he told me about the church inquiry. He had been conducting some private research of his own, and he had some reasons to believe that the document contained compromising information pertaining to the history of Church of Abbott. Personally, I'm more of a worldly man, but Jan was very much into these theological matters. He was Catholic, like the priest of his group, so you can figure out why he didn't like Cooper too much. As I had access to the council library, I promised I'd retrieve the appendix document for him. He suggested it contained enough information to cause a national scandal that would take down Cooper for good. But it didn't? A self-deprecating smile appeared on his face. Well, he's still here, isn't he? You should know. I'm a selfish man. I went to the council to retrieve the document, but I declined to give it to Jan. I kept it in my briefcase as I had my own plans with it, and I had it with me when the whole Sanford House affair occurred. You mean you lost it? The document you lost at Sanford House, the appendix to the church inquires? Shh! Quiet down. I never lost it. It was stolen. It was all ruse conjured up by these church people. It may have been a loose lip the day when I found the document. You know, after a long day at council, I like to come down and drink a few glasses. I may have boasted my find there and there. Not much later, a call came in that our party, Air, would be entertaining a wealthy donor at night. Cooper was happy to provide Sanford House, the most exuberant property in town, for the occasion. They wanted me to come right away. I should have known better, but it was in the best of spirits, so of course I attended. And they all knew my preferences. There was liquor and female entertainment, and somewhere during the night I must have blacked out. And in Sanford House, all of the places, beautiful, stately Sanford House. Do you know my clan used to own that manor? It was residence to the lords of the Isle whenever we visited Abbotsford. But my great-great-grandfather sold it to Cooper family right after the evacuation. He was hoping the church would take good care of it, that they wouldn't let it fall to ruin. I figured he was right. Ever since the reclamation, we've been trying to buy it back. First my father, then me, but not to avail. The snake Cooper knows how much we want it, and then he used it in such a humiliating way to orchestrate my downfall. My position with Air has become precious due to the whole affair. As the democratically elected representative, they cannot remove me from my position right now. I doubt they'll keep me in this party when the election comes. And the Jan guy, whatever happened to him? Jan, he left shortly thereafter. One of his friends had something terrible happen to him, you know. A guy named Mikkel got killed with one of the farms. Most workers from his group returned to their hometowns after that incident, never to return. I reckon they've seen enough of this place. Anyway, I never had a chance to look into the document, to be honest. It all but forgotten until I found you two snooping around the council library. Your safest bet is that Cooper still has it. He hasn't burned it by now. You probably have to pry it from his cold dead hands. I apologize. I'm a man of many flaws. I should have known women spell my demise. Those heavenly creatures. Life's a feast. You should enjoy it while you were young. Okay. That actually clears his name, you know what I'm saying, for me. Because, yeah. He didn't just waste his council place. He was lured. On my way home, I went by town to store to buy some salmon for dinner. Although the selection of produce was particularly basic, they somehow managed to consistently maintain a quality of supply of fresh fish. After briskly serving the salmon in the pan, I head up to my room and intend to finally enjoy a quiet evening, but fate clearly had something different in mind. What the fuck? Where the fuck did you come from, Ina? Who let you in? Your father did. He was on his way out when I got there. He said I could wait until you were back. So how did the investigation go? You got the document? Have you been spying on me? I told her about my meeting with the Marcus, how I had been notified of the appendix existence, and at the church I conned him into losing both of the document and his reputation. After I was done explaining, I caught Ina staring into the distance as 1,000 cogs were turning in her brain. So Lepel's gardener, Jan, was a friend of the worker that was killed. Yes, a colleague. I feel that may hold some significance. We have to try to get a hold of Jan, but before that we should see if we can extract the appendix from John Cooper. We? What? What makes you think Cooper has forgotten rid of it by now? With Cooper you can never be sure. Her voice sounded strangely muffled, as though she was chewing. The document holds historical significance to him. If there's one thing the church is keen on, it's preservation. But in the end, there's only one way to find out. We have to break into the church office to see if we can find it. Do you have time this coming Thursday? No, I'm taking Rika and May to the shore after school. I was so taken aback by the bluntness which she opposed the feeling's deed that I was happy to valid excuse. You're going to the shore with 2 girls? I figure inviting me along never even came to mind. It was just supposed to be me and May, if I'm being honest with you. And that's because I thought she was key to this story because she's traumatized and weird loving for Sigurd. And that's it. Ina, let's do it Saturday, after you're done with your work. Anyway, it's late and I'm dead tired. Thanks for dinner. You should know for next time that I'm not too fond on seafood. What the fuck? Bro, she was already out the door by the time I realized she finished more than 2/3 of my plate. Oh, fucking bitch. I love my food. The sun was blindly bright that day. It shone icy beams into our carriage, which had been empty save for 3 of us. To get to the beach, we had to ascend a small flight of stairs up to the concrete embankment that shielded the lower lying inlands from the water of the lake. That was a lot of information. There you are! So what do you think? Amazing, isn't it? So big you can't see the other side. Our very own sea. Rika sniffed. A sea, you call it? All I smell is rotten fish. I held my nose up to the air, but I couldn't detect anything out of the ordinary. May continued speaking, unfazed by Rika's snide remarks. And isn't it the sun nice? It is warm a summer day. Rika, can we have ice cream later? I don't think there will be a vendor at this time of the year. But we can eat something in the village when the sun begins to set. May seemed entirely too excited to listen to her friend's words. This outing of the neighboring town had sparked a childlike enthusiasm in her, the intensity of which made me wonder how often she actually left the campus of Abbotsford. So first things first. The coach will only let me skip practice if I do 30-minute work down here. Anyone joining me? May begin shuffling awkwardly. You going swimming in October? I think I'll pass. Suit yourself. Rika bounded towards the shoreline. In a graceful motion she removed her dress, revealing a modest sports swimsuit below her, before wading into the lake. Perfect halo of ripples popping out of the glass-like surface. You should come in, the water's lovely. You can take a shower afterwards to get the stench off you. I'd rather play on the beach. Rika waved one more time and then she was gone, swimming parallel to the coastline in skilled butterfly technique. May turned her attention to me. I'm not much of a swimmer. They tried teaching me when I was very young, but they say I never took it. Okay. Were you afraid of water? I'm not sure. Somewhere shallow is fine, like a swimming pool, but I shouldn't want to swim anywhere where I couldn't see the bottom. Okay. I looked over towards the water where Rika was tirelessly counting her athletics. There was a beautiful symmetry in her strokes. The way her endless hair, which she had failed to tie into a bun, trailed around like black veil, gave an otherworldly appearance. I stood memorized by the sight of the evoked images of mermaids and nymph-like beings. Rika's wonderful, isn't she? Such a grace, I've never seen anything like it. She's aight, I'm not gonna lie. Rika probably... She's just aight, man, I don't know. Rika probably to take the first place at regional championships this winter. It's the nationals after that, the whole town will be cheering her on. At that moment Rika dove down, continued underwater a good while, until she appeared again far out, waving at us, her head almost invisible against the indigo waters of the lake. She can stay underwater for more than 5 minutes, isn't that amazing? I remember whenever we were small we could hold our breath we had a hold breath contest. Rika would always beat me. At times she held her breath for so long that I'd be into panic, begging and pleading her to stop breathing again. Oh. She does have a sophisticated sense of humor, doesn't she? May giggled. Rika's the pride of the town, I'm delighted to be her friend. Most girls around here look up to Rika. They don't always let it shine through. Where is she anyways? I have to admit that I've been paying attention. I'm not sure, probably still in the water. We stood and looked out over the lake for what felt like an eternity, but the waters remained without a trace. Rika! Rika! If she should have gone under, there was only one narrow window of time before it was too late. Rika! 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 But the lake, death-like before us. Oh no, don't cry! She's been under for more than 10 minutes. No one can survive that long. Impossible. She's an excellent swimmer. Rika, stop playing games. It's not funny anymore. And that's when the gravity disagreement truly hit me like a lead cylinder impact with my stomach at 20 knots per hour. If Rika should have gone under, there was no hope she'd ever emerge again. It was over. Finished. What the No, wait. Wait. So she's dead? What? Was it intended to have a pleasurable beach trip and turn into the darkest possible tragedy? How is she dead? There was no suspense leading up to that. She just died. She just went underwater and she never came up again. That's tragedy. What should we do? She isn't coming back. We better call the emergency services. Okay, if this was me, if I went on a beach trip, one of my friends went in the water, they went underwater, they didn't come back for 10 minutes, which if it was only like 5 minutes, I would be like, okay, call someone. We better call the emergency services. It's a great idea. Quick, as I thought on my phone to dial the emergency, I noticed that my fingers had gone completely numb. But then, look in the distance. I know she wasn't dead. A black dot clearly seen far out in the lake. It was rapidly traveling in our direction. That gotta be her. How could we not? Rika, she's back. Casually dark-haired figure stepped out from the waves and slipped into the summer dress. Where were you, Rika? We thought you disappeared. Oh, I apologize. There's an interesting geological feature out there in the water what felt like an examining. It's a black granite rock hidden just beneath the surface. At times you can see little parts of it sticking out from the waves. A rock? Instantly May seemed to have forgotten about the recent crisis. I looked into the distance but saw nothing. There's lots of history surrounding that stone. It used to be a hazard for ships back in the days when it was still sea. If the fishermen hit that rock, they could sink their vessel. Over the centuries, it racked up quite a death count, and eventually it became notorious. It was given the name the Humming Stone. It was said the strange creatures lived within the rock, who brought forth a mysterious whirring sound. They were dangerous to as they feasted on the corpses of the sailors that drowned there. Ridiculous folks' beliefs, of course, but these things do amuse me. I've been wanting to ascertain the stone if it was still there. Okay, I'm glad you didn't get eaten. What the fuck? Well, how could you two worry about me? Are you doubting the champion swimmer? Yeah, I'm doubting you, you little bitch. Oh, we're still on the beach. Rika and I spent the rest of the afternoon lying in the sun while May scoured the shoreline for pretty stones. Okay. When the sun began to set, we headed up for the nearby town, Rubury. Okay. That's cool, I guess. This looked like a horror game now. Rika took us to a small cafeteria where they served locally produced fish cakes. You like them? I can't see them down there, but yeah. Though fried in graduous batter, I could tell the fish was fresh and excellent quality. It had delicate, flaky texture, seen for skilled preparation unusual for fast food joints like this. May sat chewing restfully on the piece of a batter. It tastes very, local. It's okay if you don't like them, May. I'll order you some potato fritters in a minute. I like the sea, but I don't really care for what's inside. These are made of saltwater cod, you know. They have to sail all the way past the great floodgates to catch them. Is there still fish community down here? Very small one. The lake itself is mostly used for fish, especially now with the quota on eels. There have been a few families that still sail up north. It feels like a fool's errand at times, but I guess it's what they do. To them it's a matter of pride. Rika ordered another round of fish cakes and paid for fries for May. After you two finish your meal, I want to show you something. Her mouth curled into a promising girl with a grin as she held up an unusual looking key. You should know by now that I'm very well connected. Okay. It don't matter. We followed Rika along the concrete embankment into some that looked an industrial estate. She held still one of the buildings, unlike its heavy metal door. Okay. Switch on the lights. She's taking us to the fucking back rooms. Well, what is this place? This is where the magic happens. Rebury pumping station. As the terrain of marsh pole lies below the sea level, rainwater has nowhere to run off and inevitably flood the land. I have been to a pump station before, it isn't that impressive. To prevent this from happening, all excess water was led into the station with extensive system draining ditches. The high-tech pumps up the water jettisons it out into the lake. My father is the deputy of the regional water board, that's how I have access to this place. Though the hall was draughty and uncomfortable, I felt a tingling sense of privilege as I stood above these great machines. This entire building was vital for the well-being of thousands of civilians, and we were fortunate enough to have unmitigated access. I love it here, it's so big. And it's a little scary. I agree with May, man. Look, this stairway leads down to the basement where the pumps are. They replaced the machinery just a few years ago, fuck. Each pump now has capacity of 150 tons per minute, which should be plenty for coming decades. But still, you should realize that whenever you're being the embankment, you're treading on a former seabed. A small rupture in the concrete embankment would expand quickly, causing all the waters to flow back in. She said a compulsive giggle. Isn't that an arousing thought? You're safe while you're on the Abbot, of course. The island still lies higher than the surrounding farmlands, though I don't know how long it will last. They say our town is slowly sinking down into the soil. This place has been set for birth of marsh polder. It was the first of the stations built. You know, it pumped out the lion's share of the seawater. After the land fell dry, it was a putrid mess. You wouldn't make it far before sinking into the sludge. People that wear boots with broadened soles, not unlike modern snowshoes, in order to make their way from town to town. And it wasn't long before the flies came. Swarms of them, multiplying rapidly in the rotten fish. Stop with the flies. They had no natural enemies at the time. Oh, stop, please, please, it's so annoying. Inhabitants of Abbotsford were driven mad, millions and millions of flies descending up at the little town, buzzing into the house, smashing themselves against the window of panes. Stop, please. It didn't take long for the panements in the window still to fill up with the piles of the dead flies. Stop, stop, stop. They tell us about them each other's school bags. Stop, please, please. That's disgusting. Please, stop. Stop. Oh, you gotta hear this. Nah, I'm not for real. Listen to this bullshit. It's so annoying. I'm taking the down volume for you, but... stop. As the roots spread through the mud and they gradually grew steadier, the point... Stop, please. I don't care. Insects engulfing themselves into an endless supply of flies. I can't take this. No, stop! Smiling, many islands welcomed the arrival of spiders as their presence would finally put an end to the nuisance of the flies. There you go. But for some such as my great aunt who were rare or creepy in quality, the circumstance became all the more dire. I noticed May was cowering silently. Due to the aberrant prey, the spider grew to a natural size, larger than a human hand. They would hang, legs outstretched within their massive webs. My aunt reckons one of traumatizing afternoon when she was sent down into the cellar to retrieve a ball of curling herring. It was dark down there, and she didn't have a light. She carefully made her way to the large brine-filled barrel that stood far in the back. And then, when she raised the lid, out crept two humongous, hairy... I don't know. May was petrified, her eyes wide open. Please stop, Freaky, you know these stories frighten me. And she's crying? I'm sorry, May, I forget how sensitive you are. What the... Okay. Rika mumbled soothing words. She sat there comforting May. I thought I would tell she got silent mirth. How does a story about her aunt finding a spider in the basement make her cry? With Betty and hide and seek in the indulge of the May's seemingly endless supply of peppermints, it wasn't long before it turned completely dark outside. Rika let out a thirsty yawn. It's getting late. We should be probably heading home. As I mentioned before, I have some private business to attend to in Rebury. It will only take a minute. Will you two go ahead to the railway station and wait for me there? I'll catch up with you in time with the 10 o'clock train. Okay. And as we walked over the embankment back to the train station, it was as though I could detect a very slight fragrance of burning meat in the air. I figured it must be the beach goers who had lifted a bonfire. As I looked over towards the water, I could detect a small fire burning in the distance. Cool. That's sick. Hold on a second. That was not a bonfire. That was there for a reason. She had something to do. It would only take a minute. Right? She burned the book. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember her name, Rika. Rika just burned the book that we were looking for, me and Ina. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty certain. On a Saturday afternoon, I met up with Ina outside of Itch's Prayers. They are Church of Abbott's headquarters. They host a worship center and adjust the office complex. So the plan is we head in, grab the appendix document, and then we're out again. Less than 10 minutes. Everything clear? Foolproof to me? Of course it isn't, but we implemented safeguards. The church itself is open to visitors until 8 p.m., so long as we're just looking around without breaking any laws. However, they probably keep their valuable documents somewhere inside the administrative office. As soon as they venture forward, we'll be engaged in breaking and entering, which is a crime. Anyway, it's dinner time now. I'm just taking them at home with their families. And if we get caught, we'll tell them we were high school students who were searching for meaning in their lives. We may get scolded, but then again, we can't go too hard on the repentant sinners. Come on, let's go. Okay, let's go. Try appear interested in 17th century religious architecture. I'll try. I don't even know what the fuck you just said. I can't. Oh! Is this a church? On our way inside, we passed a small booth with church wardens that Ina placed some money in the glass donation box that I permitted to place near entrance. The man nodded at us. The church itself was deserted save for the organist, who was reassuring for tomorrow's service. This is it, the devotional heart of our town. I'm afraid there isn't much to see in here apart from the organ. The history of the place goes back a long time, you know. It used to be a Catholic church with a far more ornate interior, but during the Reform all the statues were smashed and the decorations were removed. The people of Abbotsford practicing devotion were the largest plate. Oh my god, well frowned. Okay. These words, I can't read them. Like this one. Ecclesiastical. I can't. Austere. Oh. But that doesn't mean the church isn't wealthy, you know. They are sure considering all the properties they own. They just don't feel the need to parade the riches. Anyway, it's time for us to make the move. If we stay in here too long, the water will grow suspicious. Okay, let's go. Ina grabbed my arm and led me towards an non-restricted wooden door hidden away in the walls of the church. From her pocket, she produced an elegant iron wire at the end, which she carefully bent into a small hook. She quietly inserted it into the door's keyhole. You appear to be, say, seasoned burglar. Not really, but I'm looking up at the internet. These old locks should be pretty simple. Even a child can open them. With an immediate click, the door gave away. That's true. The church annex was dimly lit. Attempting carefully not to make a sound, we descended the tall staircase. Remember, we're just looking for a youth pastor to talk to. We're seeking an inner enlightenment. Okay. Do graveyard souls carry lockpicks? Let's just maintain the door slightly ajar. There should be 2 offices downstairs. How do you know this? I'm really... Oh! This is some creep. I don't like this. Selling the dark hallway. Not the most cheerful work environment. Ina pressed her ear up against one of the doors. After confirming it was empty, we entered the room. Oh no. All these books like we were struck gold. This must be John Cooper's study. Immediately we started browsing through the piles of paperwork. I suspected Cooper's library was mostly theological in nature. It was like searching for a needle in a needle haystack. Church Dogmatic Volume, Company of the Belgic Confession. Why is it not kept in order? They should teach this man system. His daughter is pretty tidy, I'd say. I bet she takes after her mother. We continued searching and Ina appeared to be growing more frantic by the minute. Are you sure the Markin wasn't lying to you? He doesn't have a good reputation, you know. I bet he was drunk at the time. I can't deny that. And even then, who says that Cooper didn't just burn the documents after they obtained them? There was no use keeping them around, they're so incriminating. But you said... I froze over Ina's frustrated whisper. I suddenly detected a strange noise that was coming from the room next to ours. It was hesitated gurgling. That burble just within audible range. What the fuck? They're probably just cooking something. There was something distantly guttural to it. I'm gonna try turning it up for y'all so you can hear it too. Yeah, you hear it. We're back. I pressed my ear up against the wall trying to get a better gauge of the sound when suddenly... There! I got it! Appendix to the Dalek Inquires. Let's get out of here! What? You got it? She clasped her hands in her mouth, realizing she suddenly how loud Her voice had sounded in a deathly silent office, then she resumed in her hushed tone. It was in the desk drawer, which has childless and simple to break open. That's great, Ina. But listen, can you hear that sound? She grew quiet. Listen closely, it seems to be coming from the room next door. What the fuck? Come on, let's check it out. We exited the room. On our tiptoes, Ina headed over towards the ejected door. There seemed to be someone in there. I can hear her voice, though it sounds heavily distorted though in agony. Come on, Ina, we should leave. We have what we came for. Just let me listen for a second longer. I'd love to get a recording. Oh my god. What do you think you're doing down here? Ina jumped up, almost dropping her papers in the process. A figure had appeared at the end of the hallway and was angrily making its way towards us. Almost mechanically, Ina called out her alibi. We're looking to speak to a youth pastor. But she already grabbed me by the arm, dragging me up a flight of stairs through the door that led to the main chapel. And we speed walked past the warden, who was so clearly oblivious to the whole affair. Stared at us in amazement as we set off to the town, squared at Olympic speeds. God damn. Ina led me on the tutorials and shaking of her image pursuer. Ina took us more than half an hour to get to school. We sped through the hallways, jumped the hedge, spent time spending dumpsters, cut through the woods, until we eventually reached the school grounds via East Gate. Once Ina had ascertained that we weren't to be followed, we entered the building. Stop with the music, we're done. We're done with the music. Thank you. Though my newfound profession had measurably increased by general fitness over the past few weeks, I was unaccustomed to a sudden outburst of physical exercise that had just been demanded of me. I fully at the end of my theater, I collapsed into a chair. Hey, Ina. They really had it out for us there. They must have some hidden secrets for them to be wary of visitors. Well, we were trespassing. Ina, who appeared to rather unfazed by our close escape, took out our captured documents and began paging through them inently. Add them to the Journal of Revenge, Thomas Webacker. Monday, blah 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 blah. Oh no, she's reading again. President Church Abbott will be elected on further hiring. These pages will serve as an appendix journal that I've submitted to the prior Low Countries. Given me the circumstances, I don't feel as liberty to commit to the paper. In a clearer thought. As I described in the paragraphs, freely divine, welcome to the contact. John Cooper was courting without notable event. It was not until the third day my arrival I became aware of certain behavioral accident with both Cooper family and the community of Abbott at large. Though not immediately apparent, this anomaly manifested as creeping awareness. Though never fully alone during my stay on the isle. Where I went, there was a mystifying presence that gradually grew more discernible. It could take form in a muted giggle or a glimpse of black hair dashing away in purple vision. When I tried to confront Hendrika with her strange behavior, she would act coy, even avoiding my glance. And there was more, slightly elevated annoyance of constant espionage. Through the nonetheless unsettling, there was a particular habitual occurrence with the town that immediately drew my attention. For every evening after dinner, I would retreat to my room for prayer and meditation. The island became shrouded in deathly quiet, as though reliving, and it disappeared from the face of the earth. The streets below would be stir, and even with the man's self, we could detect no trace of the Cooper family. These absences would always start before 7 and never lasted less than an hour. After picking up the regular of these intervals, I would utilize them for embark upon walks around this little town, as even my dark ash sentinel appeared to be absent during this period of time. It was on Wednesday evening, during of the walks, that I first noticed distant smoking coming from the dunes. With my interest piqued, I curiously headed in the direction where the scent came from, and I drew closer, as certain to originate from the dunes themselves, not from the beach beyond whereupon the great bonfire had been ignited. I already entered into the notion of the inhabitants of Abbott held up some evening for hours, and my heart was jumped as I found about a large crowd of people that had gathered up on the shore, with bright flames casting along shadows of the chalky sand. The sound made for haunting scene. For upon the bonfire lay a carcass of a sheep not raised above the flames, but placed directly upon them, and as a great fire emanated, its carcass sending smoke and stench of burning flesh up into the sky, and swept away by the evening breeze. Taking shelter in the dunes has not been discovered, and I continue to observe the haunting spectacle. Though most of the winds blew out of the cover sea, some of them blew over the land, although the gusts were infrequent and far between. During those times I could clearly make out Cooper's voice. He was preaching a sermon upon the shore. her voice drenched in a fervor of devotion that had been absent during the observance I had on Sunday morning. And just as I arrived, the Reverend led conversation on prayer. And the people spoke in Yushan, so what was clear for me to hear, these words are communally referred to Song of the Sea. The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. Pharaoh's tyrants and his host at the head, the cattle of the sea. His chosen captains are drowned in the Red Sea. Depths have covered them, they sank to the bottoms of the stone. And in the greatness of the thine excellency, those overthrown and rose up against the sea, those senses forth my wrath, they consumed as the stubble. With the blast of the tide nostrils, the waters and gathered together, the floods up in a heap, and the depths would conquer their hardest sea. This is a rap, this is not a prayer. After this communal prayer, the Reverends resumed in sermon to spoke enthusiasm for hymns. Well, I can make, sorry I'm skimming this a bit, but it's just so much to read. What I can make from these words, ancient, even arcane texts that are completely foreign to the Christian scripture. Class and monikers such as these belong to great serpent, and he spoke his name with so exalted reverence he were heaping praise upon the beast. And he spoke more blamelessly of holy names, seen religious, profound, and the crossing lips with a certain low tan. They repeated this incarnation many times, but I had become nauseous. Oh! What? Suddenly we were shaken by the sound of breaking glass. A large stone had crashed through the window and came hurling onto the floor. For a second Ines had frozen, still clenching the document tightly her fist. But then she stood up from the chair. It's a church! They run to us! Run! What? No! Huh? What? Nice, perfect, perfect. Was that was a chapter? Oh. Part 4, Crosswinds. Okay. We're gonna save. Okay. That was Deluge chapter 3. I am very excited to see where this goes. Now the church is on our ass, we're gonna die, and there's probably not a lot left. There's probably this chapter, I think. But yeah, that was chapter 3. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll be back for chapter 4. If you haven't watched the 2 other chapters, this video didn't make sense, so go watch them. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll wrap this up in the next coming episodes. Peace.